Oh, yeah. Welcome to the Red Pill News. And I am going to say the Democrats finally know what a woman is. All this talk about abortion, they're saying it's a woman's right to choose. They know what a woman is. It's the whole gender thing's been knocked out of the box. No more guessing at what somebody is. A woman can have a baby, can make a baby, right? I know they're gonna say, well, there's men who carried or whatever. I'm not talking about some freak experiments. I'm talking about the natural, human of what you can do naturally. They finally know what a woman is. You got a Supreme Court justice going in who said that she's not qualified to say what a woman is because she's not a biology. The biologist, that's like me walking outside in the rain saying, I'm not qualified to say it's raining because I'm not a meteorologist. It's just getting more and more stupid every day with these people. You can't give these hardcore extremists that type of center stage. You just can't. They need to be on the fringe because that's where they put themselves. That's where they belong. You can't accept what they do as normalization. All of a sudden, it's okay to attack comedians, right? Think about that. Think about Dave Chappelle being attacked the other night by a dude with a fake gun that had a knife in it. It's just the normalcy of these things is going to encourage more of these attacks to happen. You know, when Trump was running for office, right? You guys know, you listen to the show. This is my disclaimer. I'm not a Trump fan, but when he was running for office, the other side, the Democrats, were rioting and burning down police stations, and they were encouraging violence. The politicians, they didn't discourage it, And I thought Barack Obama was going to come forward and say, listen, you can't have these riots. You can, peacefully protest, but you don't burn down police stations and hurt and kill people, rape people. All this stuff was going on in these riots. You know, they said keep going. Hillary Clinton said, keep going. Barack Obama said, keep going. All of the big Democrats told the people doing this to keep going and put in millions of dollars into dark money fund so they can go and do these things. Does that sound like a politician that's going to equally represent everybody across the board? Or does that sound like somebody who conspires for power? You're hiring a brute squad at that point and causing all of this unrest. The person sitting at home, they just don't want to deal with it. You're working your job, you're living your life, you got your family, whatever the hell you have, even if you don't have one, it's just you. You don't need this in your life. You don't need people being mad at you for any reason, the color of your skin or what politics you choose to talk about, whatever. You don't need people to want to destroy you because of your beliefs. And this is what these people have wrought. They've brought us back to a place where people were persecuted for their ideas and beliefs. And then the Democrats have the nerve to say that that's what they're afraid of. That's why they do these things, because they don't want people, to take away their rights so they can do. So this is the deal. They're always the opposite of what they say. I've noticed this all my life. Whatever these hardcore extremists, especially on the left, whenever they say something, it's always the opposite. And these are the warmongers. These are the people that want strife. They are messed up in their own personal lives. They have no balance. They have nothing going on except the hate behind their eyes, and then they transfer it out there in the world. They project it on people, sometimes for no reason at all, right? But you have a group of people now that have been incited by political representatives to go and hurt or kill people because of their ideas. You have the Academy Awards, right? Will Smith goes out and smacks Chris Rock because of something that Chris Rock said about Will Smith's wife having a bald head. You know, nobody. This is the deal. Nobody wants to lose their right of speech, right? And there's free speech and there's free speech. Can you stand up in a crowded movie theater and scream fire? That's not free speech unless there's a fire, You're getting people out the door. So there's limits in certain situations. But hey, saying your wife is bald or something like that doesn't deserve a dude to come out and bitch slap you on stage in front of the world, and that set off a whole chain reaction. But he wasn't slapping Chris Rock. He was slapping the relationship he has with his wife, because it's all messed up between them, and it's been messed up. The more things are messed up in your relationship, and if you try to keep that relationship going, it ain't going to get any better. It's just going to get more messed up, and go to places that you definitely don't want it to go. So, but now it's acceptable. That one slap, boom, has justified attacks. You know, it desensitizes people to these things, and then makes it more normal, saying, "Oh, it's okay if I go up there and beat up a comedian. I'm going to go up there, kick the comedian's butt, right? Because I don't like what he said. It ain't funny. So I want to get up there." So Dave Chappelle, one of my favorite comedians. I love Dave Chappelle. I think he's great. Uh, Dave Chappelle attacker Isaiah Lee, who's not being charged with a felony, by the way. And I have to say, Dave Chappelle in that theater, you need you need better security, man. Nobody should have gotten up on that stage. No one. So I'll say that. But this guy, the guy who attacked Isaiah Lee, the one who attacked Dave Chappelle, let's see, the armed man who allegedly attacked Dave Chappelle on stage in Los Angeles was a wannabe rapper with a temper, who was known for creating havoc in his apartment complex. This is what his neighbors said. Isaiah Lee, 23, was arrested after he was allegedly bum rushed Chappelle while carrying a strange knife that looks like a handgun, uh, and caught on video. Of course, everybody's there with their cameras and everything. Former neighbor Russell Taylor remembered Lee as someone who could be set off with a word. So the guy shouldn't have been out there in public. Somebody who is that kind of a powder keg that can be set off and act violently shouldn't be out there, right? Or should be treated, certainly, in a facility, not endangering people. So, okay, whatever Chappelle was saying, and he was not feeling, it would be no surprise that would set him off. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to run up and fix it." There you go. That's what you want in your audience. The slap heard around the world. This is the kind of guy who would take action if you do something he didn't like. Exactly. Exactly. Will Smith justified this, you know, doesn't know the guy, doesn't know any part of it, doesn't want any part of it. Justified it with his actions. And then the Academy justified it. Well, we're going to ban you for a while, but here's your award. And everybody clapped for him because he's so great. I don't think Will Smith is great. You think Will Smith is a great actor? Have you actually seen him act? He's just the goofy dude. Hollywood's non-threatening black guy. That's really that's the actor. They go to him for those roles. They don't go to other people, and that's you got to ask something about Hollywood. What are they portraying, and what do they want to portray? I mean, when I look at commercials, I see most men in commercials, and I'll say, 95% of males come off as very, very effeminate, so including black males. Can't they have masculine males? Can't they have a male who's centered in masculinity? No, in the PC world, it's toxic. In the PC world, they say anything masculine is toxic. What kind of message is that? And who is the PC world? You know who it is? It's Hollywood. It's the people who control these media channels, the ones who are coming up with the advertising. Have you seen ads on TV? Have you noticed anything different about them? I'll let you answer that question for yourself. Let's see. So this guy Lee had lived with his brother and his brother's girlfriend. Must have been nice for them, with a guy who's always going off at a condo, on and off for about 2 years. I bet they dreaded the day that dude came back. I bet the whole condo facility, whatever, they saw that guy. I lived downstairs from a older couple down in Amityville, right? And they had this son who was a criminal, and always getting in trouble, always getting locked up, and he'd go away for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, whatever. And when he would come out, he would seek them out and stay with him for a few weeks. Of course, there'd be all kinds of things missing, people's car stereos going missing in the complex. This guy breaking in to other people's apartments, a series of break ins that just were mysterious, right? All of that. And we all dreaded the day that dude would come back. We all dreaded. People lived in fear of that. He come back, you maybe make sure everything's locked up, make sure you look out the window of your car, you know, whatever. So yeah, and this is another person like that. Let's see. The neighbor said that they would be yelling and screaming in front of the street almost every weekend. They would always come back after an hour at the police department or the next day. It got bad around here, threatening each other with knives. The brothers often talked about being from New York. Well, there's your first. New York, New York is world known, man. No matter where I go, I don't even have to say I'm from New York, and people all just automatically listen to me. "Oh, you're from New York. Even upstate New York, people do that. I can hear your accent. You're from New York. You're from New York too. I'm just different than you are, man. We have a different way of talking down in the city, kind of a tough little type of thing, eh? Yeah, right. Give me a bagel with cream cheese. And don't go light on the cream cheese, mister. Well, all right. This guy claiming that Lee meant that as to brag, saying New Yorkers don't take crap from anybody. Well, I think we're desensitized. I don't know about that. I think it's just the opposite. We're desensitized, not about taking crap. It's more about, what we're willing to do. So I don't know. Your response to events when you're a New Yorker. You gotta be quick on your feet too. Jump out of the way. Some wayward cab or somebody want to drive over you on the sidewalk because they're having a bad day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's all that too. Man, the city used to be so much fun. Back in the day, I'd be hanging out at my friend's studio, Ultraphonic in East Meadow, not even all that far from the city. We jam all night, then be hungry, pile in the car, drive everybody into the city, down to Chinatown, go to this place called Woo Hops. It's 24 hours a day, and it was cool. Yeah, there was crime and there was this and there was that, and you got to know what the hell you're doing wherever you are, but it wasn't like it is now. The crime wasn't as random. If there was crime, it was more for a reason for crime than just some person going off the hook. But we've talked about it on the show before about how people are going to act and react, especially with the pandemic. Now you got this war thing, and the pandemic. COVID is back and growing numbers. So it's not letting up, and then also financially a lot of people are struggling, and then things are expensive. Gas is up, all these food prices are up. We're all paying for it, we're all suffering. The people who are poor are poorer. The middle class are becoming poor. This is what it's just destroying people when it costs you more to get to work. Or if you got to drive a certain amount to work, that drive's not gonna change. It's still gonna stay the same. Or the politicians say, "Oh yeah, lower your thermostat, raise your thermostat, whatever, be cold, be hot." Basically, suffer, 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 pay big bucks in taxes, and they're gonna throw it away. They're gonna take your money and throw it away. I see all these agencies they're coming up with. Democrats love popping up these agencies. Oh, now you have an agency that's gonna I was gonna watch people's speech, their speech, and monitor their speech. This is America. And this is what they're doing. I saw the woman they put in charge of that. They have a video playing nonstop of her, uh, and she's crazy. She's nuts, man. She's like 100% crazy nut. You could just tell. I know crazy. I've been exposed to crazy. I've been around crazy, and that's crazy. Probably was 0 to 10. 10 being most crazy. I'd say she's a good 7, 8. You know what I mean? That's not who you want in any kind of government agency. You need people who are as neutral as possible, not people that have all these political opinions. When you're doing work for the people, your opinion does not matter. You're doing work for the people and all of them, and there's their opinions of what kind of job you're doing. But this is what they're doing. Oh man, you got a commander in chief who doesn't even know where he is. And it's really sad to see this guy going, gone, and his family and these people and the people in the government around him. They all think it's okay to let him keep going. He's losing a lot of his abilities, and this is the stuff that we see. This is just a few seconds that we see. Imagine what we don't see. So, but this dude broke down the door of his brother's place in his condo and whatever. The neighbor said, "I'm just glad they didn't burn my house down." Let's see. Isaiah Lee raps under the name No Name Trapper and has a verified Spotify account. Wow. With a song about Dave Chappelle. What does he sing about Dave Chappelle? Because I'm going to get you on stage, stab you. Let's see. He said that they just want to be rappers whose music is just awful. And he said they're criminals. This is a neighbor. It's like they're criminals, and it's emblematic of how bad things have gotten in this state. And that's the state of California. Not just there, dude. Not just California. It is all over, all over. So I'm trying to support Mayor Adams, New York City, new mayor of New York City. He's already stumbled and he's already messed up so much, you know, and then blaming everything on his skin color just compounds all of the difficulties that he actually faces in his job. If he wants respect from NYPD and the other people around him, he needs to take control. And I don't think he can take control. I think you have yet another case of somebody who was extremely underqualified, who won the position of mayor because the Democratic Party put them forward. And, I mean, de Blasio was already a train wreck. And this dude's supposed to go in there and fix what he did. Nobody's ever saying it. That's like the Democrats. They never say anything about their own party and how they screw things up. They just throw some more manure on the pile just to try to muck it up and say, oh, it's not us, it's him, it's them, it's the other party, it's this, this, that, and whatever. They play the blame game. So, so here's Mayor Adams. I thought he was in New York City. He said he was there. People getting stabbed. There's a crime wave going on. A crime wave going on in New York City. It is not a good time for the mayor to leave New York City. It's a crime wave. People are suffering. Shot, stabbed, pushed in front of trains, driven over with trucks and whatever. All kinds of ways, all kinds of stuff. Right? Huge crisis. So then keep in mind too, they have a DA who doesn't want to keep criminals in jail. He wants to let them go, and he's constantly letting people go. He's letting them go. They're going out and committing murder, committing all kinds of crimes. Nobody's saying anything about it. So you have a mayor saying, well, we're going to be tough on crime. We're going to put more police in the streets. We're going to get more police on the job and all this other stuff. But at the same time, all the people you arrest are going to be released right away because the DA doesn't believe in bail and keeping people in. And these guys are hardcore criminals. It ain't the Avon lady you're arresting. It's not somebody who just made a mistake. These are hardcore criminals. Are you seeing all the robberies in the city? You seeing the smash and grabs? You seeing people with sledgehammer breaking windows of all kinds of like jewelry stores and whatever? So let me ask you this. With all this crime, they're selling 20, 30, 40, 50,000 bucks worth of merchandise and all that, right? With all this crime, riddle me this. What's the tipping point for the police? What's the tipping point for the political body in this nation? At what point do you stop these criminals from doing what they're doing? Because they can waltz into a bank and just go up and take the money, and people don't challenge them, and they can walk out the door. Most of them have weapons, knives, guns, hammers, all kinds of stuff, and they have no problem hurting people. There's groves of people going into restaurants, robbing people while they're sitting there eating dinner in theater, right? Your drama theater. There you go. You're getting robbed, and now they're complaining. Oh, we don't want this. These were the same people. Much of them were the same people that said that they wanted less cops and to cut the budget. Now they're sitting there in Soho getting robbed at gunpoint while they're trying to eat dinner. Now they're saying they want more cops. Well, which is it? Do you want the society that you're begging for, Or do you want the society that's safe to roam around, or somewhat safe, a percentage wise? You know. So all right. So here we go. Mayor Eric Adams saw Dave Chappelle in the aftermath of the horrific onstage attack on the comedian in Los Angeles. Right. Adams had the encounter during his 2-day trip to Los Angeles, where he participated in an hour long digital transformation panel. Now, let me tell you, you don't need to fly to California as mayor when there's a crisis going on in New York City. You don't need to fly to California to have an hour-long digital transformation panel. Digital transformation that you do through the internet, that you do in front of your laptop. That's something that you don't have to leave the city, waste taxpayers' money, and also not be there when it's important to be there. So this was organized by the Millikan Institute. And then you're thinking, if he's in an hour-long digital transformation panel, how the hell did he meet up with Dave Chappelle? Dave Chappelle ain't doing digital transformation panel. Really? Okay. Adams said, let's see, the viral incident at the Netflix is a joke comedy festival is indicative of some of the mental health crisis we're facing, while calling it unbelievable. That's what Adam said. It's unbelievable. No, 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 no. It's very believable that somebody would do that because his party has incited the violence and the hate that these people have, and they're letting it go. They're attacking people. They're doing what they want to do, and they don't think that they're ever going to be punished. They're mostly right. Hate to say, mostly right. So you're going to have the sledgehammer guys are going to go into museums and steal priceless priceless art, works of art. Is that going to happen? Mayor Adams. So I'm not really supporting this dude at this point because I think now I just think he's an idiot. Just listening to what he says. He said violence is unacceptable. A dude who's mayor of New York City, who is in Los Angeles for an hour-long digital bullcrap thing, his city is on fire. The city, people are getting killed all over the place. People are getting pushed in front of trains. They're being stabbed. They're being robbed. This dude has the nerve to say violence is unacceptable. Well, if violence is unacceptable, then show us. Show us that in New York City that violence is unacceptable. Take these people who are violent criminals and put them where they belong. You don't let them out back to their own neighborhood. And who are they hurt? They hurt people in their own neighborhood, right? He said, thank God there was a response to make sure that he wasn't injured seriously. Dave Chappelle, right? It was horrific to have someone come on stage and attack in that manner. I'm shocked. Well, the mayor of New York City is shocked at somebody getting attacked. This dude was a transit cop for years. He's shocked that somebody rushed the stage. He's shocked. How about expect the unexpected and be ready for that? They should have had way better security. I saw pictures of the guy in the aftermath. Looks like someone danced on his face. So at least he got some kind of maybe justice from Dave Chappelle's crew. And Dave Chappelle looked like he punched him in the head. Maybe it was him as he ran up there. You gotta be quick and nimble, man. Remember George Bush Jr. when he was giving that speech and some guy in the audience started throwing his shoes at him. One shoe kind of whizzed by his head, and he was ready for that shoe too, man. He was like ready to duck and dodge. That's pretty good. I don't think we've had a president that could move like that in a while. You know what I mean? I don't think a lot of them could have gotten out of the way. Let's see. Dave Chappelle. He was just telling jokes, Dave, said Adams. The mayor was glad to see Dave Chappelle appeared well at a private event they mutually attended. So he goes to LA. He attends this hour-long bullcrap thing, which is just an excuse to go there. I bet I bet he doesn't even remember what the hell it was. Like what the thing was all about. He just remembers hanging out with Dave Chappelle and other famous people, hobnobbing with famous people. And this is what pisses me off about these low-level politicians when they rise to a higher power. They just care about being Hollywood, mayors, Hollywood presidents. Obama was like that. This dude's like that. There's a lot of them who are like that, right? They want to bump elbows with famous people, whatever. That's not their job. He doesn't represent anyone in Los Angeles, and his city is has big trouble. But the guy's going to be there hanging out with Dave Chappelle, right? He made remarks to the NBC reporter at a separate event celebrating, let's see, the Berugin Prize for Philosophy and Culture. The philosophy of getting rushed on stage, duck, or run, or just be ready, man. Drop that sucker. All right. So Dave Chappelle's lucky he's alive. If this guy did decide to use his knife against him, or if he did have a gun, the situation could have been a lot different. So on Tuesday night, the comedian also celebrated at a VIP party at the Pendry West Hollywood Hotel, where he was having a great time, reportedly. Following the attack, Chappelle joked his attacker was a trans man. Of course, Chappelle's under fire with the transvestite comments and whatever. And now there's a movement against him, J.K. Rowling and other people that so-called the cancel culture is trying to cancel because of their views. Do I think Dave Chappelle hates gay people? No. Do I think that he hates trans people? No. Do I think that he thinks it's funny as hell? Yeah. So it's going to happen that way. You know what? It depends on what you're willing to ask people to believe in and what you're willing to shove down their throats. And if you shove it down their throats, they're going to not be very happy about it. So let's see. Of course, the trans man, several controversial statements on transgender issue. So Dave Chappelle is a comedian. He's not a political analyst. He's not somebody who makes politics. He's not in politics. He's a comedian, right? Whatever he says is his comedic nature, and that's how it comes out. He's not coming out with hate speech or anything like that. But look how the system is turned on him and how they've gone after him for this whole thing, right? United States of America, there's 3.4% of the public identifies as LGBTQ, whatever comes after that. 3.4%. There are groups that are in that group saying that there's much more than that, but they're just not coming forward because they can't or they're afraid. Well, that might be true. That might not be true. I can just go by the numbers of what we can identify out there. So, and 1.4 percent is trans people who identify as trans people, right? To go to the extremes of canceling shows, canceling movies, going off the hook because somebody made a joke about somebody else, and you got to be able to laugh at yourself. You got to come on. You're a 6'6" hairy guy putting on a pantyhose and a dress. That's funny, man. You got to be able to laugh at yourself. If you're identifying as a woman, it's just something inside of you, and all these Democrats saying, oh, no, 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 no. There's all these different genders. They have identified all these, I don't know, 27 genders. Oh my God. I know about male and female and maybe hermaphrodite in between, and that's all that there really is. If people want to identify, hey, I identify as a pirate, man. And a pretty good one. Actually, I identify as that. You identify with whatever you want, I guess. A genie and walk around like that. There are people that identify as babies and they have diapers. These men walking around with diapers, and big baby bottles. Things have gone too far in the world of permissiveness. When you start accepting people when they're having problems that should be dealt with in a medical way, psychological and things like that, then you can't encourage, you know, the let's say symptoms of their sickness. Right? I mean, so whatever you identify as, that's fine by me as long as you don't hurt anybody. That's my world. When you had the guy with the cake and he wouldn't, the two men on top of the cake because two gay guys came to him and said, we want to get married. And then there was a big news story. And then the court sided with the guy of his religious reasons of not putting two men on top of a cake, when really it comes down to a financial transaction. The guy baking a cake for two gay men does not mean a ticket to hell for him. And in his own religion, he's the one who's breaking from the ranks by judging other people and not loving everybody. He's the one who broke the ranks. It doesn't matter that these guys are together. That's not his path. This dude who makes the cakes, his only job is to make a cake, right? And we can get into to specifics about what these people believe in and how dare they judge others. Don't throw glass, don't throw stones in glass houses and all other crap. Let me tell you, man, there's a lot of that out there, and a lot of judging coming from regular old people, and they use their religion to do it. So anyway, let's see. Moments after the Thursday night tackle comedy guest, he was there too. Chris Rock came on stage and gave Dave Chappelle a hug. Chris Rock should have came on stage and smacked Dave Chappelle. That would make everything all the more normal. All the more. Let me run out there. Smack you in the face. Keep my name out your mouth. Uh, so of course Chris Rock comes out and he says, "Was that Will Smith?" Yeah. So on Wednesday, Isaiah Lee, 23 years old, was charged with felony assault with a deadly weapon, and apparently the felony charge got dropped because of some bullcrap. So I don't know, man. He's gonna walk. Nothing's gonna happen to that dude. He's hot tempered, known for causing trouble. That's great. That's great. And you know what? If he was gone, nobody would miss him. And people wouldn't be afraid to live in their apartment complex knowing that the guy is going to come back. It's kind of funny when you think in those terms on victims. This guy creates a lot of victims, either from direct crime or indirect. It's just victim, right? Anyway, they smack him. You got Will Smith's wife out there saying that she never wanted to get married. So she's got this podcast, and she has him, Will Smith, come on the podcast to get ratings, and started recording the guy in their own house, and on her phone, and he was really angry. He was like, you don't start rolling on me in the house. It's my own house. Start rolling on me. I'm just trying to get you on the show with our therapist to talk about your progress and like putting them down, right? Here she said, I never wanted to marry Will. They forced me. They forced her. I don't know who did it. The mom. Jada Pinkett Smith's old confession about her wedding. You see, I think that some people just can never be happy, and you have to identify that about them before you get deeply involved. You know, and there's a time and a place for everything. But let's talk about the thing that men in America, the only thing men in America care about is their penis length. Yeah, and it's interesting. They did a study on who's got the biggest penises around the world. And I'm thinking, like, damn, is that really who got paid for that? And did they measure? Did they kind of have like what's their thing? So who do you out there? Who do you think's got the smallest and who's got the biggest? And I know people are gonna say, oh, I'm not even gonna say it because it's gonna sound terrible. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything about it. I'm just gonna read this report. So American men's penises are only the 59th biggest in the world, a study reveals. The average length of the 5.35 inches is shorter than their Haitian, French, and Aussie counterparts. Say Australian people are going to stand tall on that one. The French also. The poll of 86 nations revealed that French men's genitals are 6.20 inches in length, while Australia ranks 43rd at 5.69. Men in Haiti have an average penis size of 6.30 inches when erect. Oh, so there's that thing. erect and not erect. Let me take a measurement before. Let me take a measurement after. And like who would they send out to do this? Ecuadorian men apparently have the biggest ones at an average of 6.95 inches, while the smallest can be found in Cambodia at just 3.95 inches long when erect. Wah, wah, wah. Take that. Oh my God. Men in the US narrowly beat those in the UK as the average size recorded was 5.17 inches. So take that, UK. That's because you got a queen. Otherwise, you have something else going on. Online pharmacy from Mars analyzed Google data from 86 countries. How does Google come up with this Google data? Google is Googling your peenie. Something going on there. Pharmacist and spokesman Navin Kholsa said most men have wondered at some time or other if their penis is big enough. That is the thing with men, and this is the problem. I think a lot of politics. It comes into politics, man. And who's got the bigger penis and whatever. That just shows you how primitive, truly primitive humans are. You expect people to truly evolve, really, and they're worrying about their penis size. That's really only if you care. If the other person cares, if you think about it, because if you don't care, then it doesn't matter as long as you're happy. You know what I mean? I see things very differently now in my over 50 age, very differently. Let's see. We reported on how Roberto Esquivel Cabrera claims to have the largest penis in the world. He claims his privates measure 18.9 inches long. He'd be good at baseball games if you forgot your bat. You know what I mean? Batting is pinch. What do they call that? Pinch hitter. Roberto Esquivel Cabrera. Yes, this is my bat. It's very big. Although claims were disputed. I don't know by who. Whoever conducted the Google interview. Cabrera hit the headlines in 2015 after a video of him measuring his manhood when fires. This is what people talk about when we're talking about it on the show. But because it's just so ridiculous, I just, when I saw the story, I'm like, what? Although he suffers frequently from urinary tract infections and keeps his manhood wrapped in bandages to escape chafing. That's no life. Do they have some kind of like reduction surgery? You know what I mean? They got that for other stuff like boobs. They could do that for him. Get him down to take him down to not Cambodian, but like somewhere between Australia and the US, like float float in the middle. Let's see. He claims that his is so long because he attached weights to it and stretched it out. All right, TMI. You know what I mean? Really? That's how they ended the story of just talking about this dude and his bat and the world, the horrible world around him, man. But everything is sex, right? Everything is sex. Everything you see on these commercials and whatever. Feminists will yell at you not to sexualize and don't look at women as an object and that type of thing. But then you see all these women putting themselves out there as objects and charging people for it, right? Got the OnlyFans, you got stuff like that, you know. So then the ones who keep aging, you know, who don't die, the ones who keep going, these sex symbols, actresses and all that, even actors are doing all this plastic surgery. They just look so bizarre. The big lips, the tight cheeks, and all the stuff that they use. It just makes them look unnatural. And it's interesting. Their fans are calling them out on it. So fans accuse Nicole Kidman of changing her face. They say you don't look like you, right? Nicole Kidman followers are questioning her latest social media post. A smiley snap posted on there shows the actress posed with director Lulu Wang on the set of a new Amazon series, Expats. But according to commenters, something about Kitten's face is different. Her porcelain skin apparently puffy, tight, wrinkle free. The fans speculate the 54-year-old Oscar-winning actress might have done worked on her face. So of course, And then they say that, oh my God, is that her? Man, that doesn't look like her at all. I wouldn't even think that was Nicole Kidman if you showed me this picture. Otherwise, it doesn't look like her at all. But this is what so in the world of feminism, this should be the most obscene thing to a feminist, right? The natural aging of a female or male, it should be a beautiful thing and celebrated, and not, oh, I have to compete and stay young. Do these women who are 54 really think they can compete with young girls who are in their early 20s or whatever? Of course not. No, but they try. And then there's always people out there looking to sell it. Look at commercials. Aside from all the drug ads, the rest of them are really, uh, hey, stay young forever. Use this crap. Stay young forever. So I don't know. And I want to talk a little bit about Amber Heard. Well, some of Hollywood is pushing back on the Botox thing and even calling people out. Courtney Cox, 57, saying that she was getting these injections. She said that she's actually looking really strange with the injections, and she stopped. Her face was changing. She was changing, you know. So and now she's out there. There's other people too, that have come to terms with it. But that's the world they're in, Hollywood. That's the business they're in. They think they need to stay young. They're not going to stay young. You know how you keep your age where you don't look like you're old. You drink a lot of water. You don't drink alcohol really. Stay away from cigarettes. There's things that you can do to find the fountain of youth, or at least slow your roll when it comes to aging. I mean, I know people younger than me that look like they're old because of their lifestyle. That's just the way they chose to live their lives, right? So, all right, let's talk about Amber Heard pooping in the bed. At some point in your relationship, you know it's over when your other poops in the bed. And I'm not saying from any kind of activity. I'm saying like they're in there by themselves and they poop on your side of the bed. That's when you know you're dealing with a complete and total psychopath. There's no other sign that you need to say you're a psychopath. So of course the trial's going on, and now she's giving her side of the story. She fired her PR team because they weren't doing a good job because people were going towards Johnny's side. I think they're both the same. I think they're both equally. They're both they're both turds. You know what I mean? Let's see. Let me get to the turd part. Here we go. Through a live video broadcast in court, Jenkins recalled accompanying the actress to the famous event, some event in 2016. While driving, he said that the two had a conversation related to the surprise she had left Johnny Depp on his side of the bed. He expressed in his testimony it seemed that the surprise occurred just after a heated argument between the couple, and she uh, she went and took a major poop on his bed and tried blaming it on the dog. Johnny Depp said the dogs are very small and they never had pooped that big. Johnny Depp measuring the size of his dog's poop. You just know. You know what your dog can do. Right? Let's see. Depp acknowledged in front of the magistrates and everybody else in the room that at that time he saw a photo of the incident that took place after a strong fight during his ex's 30th birthday party. Uh, uh, he laughed. It was out of place, so bizarre and grotesque that I couldn't help but laugh. There you go. There you go. Although, according to the artist, he tried to blame the dogs for the unpleasant incident, but they're tiny Yorkies, only about 4 pounds each. Must have been a pretty big log in the bed, you know. And you know what? that you don't need to know any more about somebody. That's just not cool. It's not funny. It's not anything. You poop once you poop in the bed, it's over. There's really no. I mean, you're not pooping in the bed because you're sick. You're not pooping in the bed because you got some other kind of problem. You're pooping in the bed because you're mad. That is such a monkey thing to do. That is a monkey thing to do. Amber Heard did a monkey thing, man. When I was at the Bronx Zoo on a class trip one time, seventh grade, there was this teacher. There was two teachers. My class's teacher and then another class and their teacher. And that guy never liked me, and he was always like a jerk to me and all that. Right? I don't know. I never did anything to him. I will say that. But sometimes chemicals just don't mix with people. So this guy would always give me a hard time in school and whatever. Then we go on this class trip, and he just kept singling me out for all kinds of stuff. I don't know. I was just being my normal self. And I'll just say that. Sometimes I like to laugh and talk and whatever and be the class clown, but that's how God made me. It's exactly how it made me. Anyway, we're at the monkey cage, and this guy is talking crap. Not even to me. He's talking crap to the monkey at this point. The monkey took a handful of poop and threw it right at the guy's face. I thought that was magical. It was a magical moment because I laughed, and I never let that guy forget about that. Yeah. Hey, teach, remember when the monkey threw crap in your face? Oh my God, it was so funny. That's Amber Heard. Johnny Depp is lucky she didn't like poop right in her hand and whip it right at him, man. So at that point, it's done. Now here they are suing for hundreds of millions of dollars. He's suing for 100 million, she's suing for 50 million, or he's suing for 50 and she's suing for 100. Ugh, these people are disgusting, man. So anyway, that's all I have to say. I'm going to end it there on the Red Pill News. Look out for yourselves. Make sure you don't hook up with someone who's going to poop in your bed or do something even worse. I will talk to you guys later next week on this show. I love you all. Have a great night. Bye bye.